Check thrust.
Thrust is set, 80 knots. V1. Rotate.
Rotate.
Just after 4 p.m., they lift off from Shanghai.
Positive climb.
Gear up.
The flight from Shanghai to Seoul is expected to take 2 hours. Shortly after takeoff, the controller provides the pilots with their climb-out instructions.
Korean Air 6316, now turn left direct to November Hotel Whiskey, then climb and maintain 1,500 meters.
The MD-11 is to continue climbing and turn left to intercept NHW. NHW, or November Hotel Whiskey, is a ground-based navigation beacon that assists pilots in guiding their plane through the skies.
Okay, direct November Hotel Whiskey. And say again, altitude?
Reconfirming the altitude instruction is smart. Every aircraft had their assigned route or assigned altitude by the ATC. So that is very important to hold this altitude to avoid the conflicts with others.
But as the pilots confirm their instructions, the controller notices the plane has yet to turn towards the NHW navigation fix.
Flight 6316, turn left direct to November Hotel Whiskey, then climb and maintain 1,500 meters.
The controller can see on the radar scope that the aircraft is not turning left, and so is reminding the crew that they need to turn left by reissuing the clearance.
But as the controller repeats his instructions,
I don't see NHW.
the navigation fix does not appear on the captain's display screen.
Where is it?
Here. Keep turning left. Keep turning.
Keep turning?
Yes, keep turning more.
As the pilots continue their turn, the controller realizes the plane isn't climbing.
Korean Air 6316, climb and maintain 1,500 meters.
Are they asking us
Yes,
to...
they're telling us to climb.
The aircraft hasn't even reached the initial altitude that they were cleared to. So this is a way to remind the crew, we need to get moving, we need to climb.
Just as Flight 6316 nears its assigned altitude, it disappears from radar. The plane is diving uncontrollably towards the ground, too fast to be picked up by radar. The controller is unaware of its descent.
Korean Air 6316, do you read?
Wait, pitch.
Korean Air 6316, radio check.
Korean Air Flight 6316 bursts through the clouds above Shanghai.
Nose up, nose up, nose up!
And slams into the ground 7 miles from the airport. Less than 2.5 minutes after takeoff.
At the speed they hit the ground, the impact was so severe that it registered the equivalent of a 1.6 earthquake.
The aircraft crashes in Xinchuang, on the outskirts of the town's residential area. The accident claims the lives of both pilots and the flight technician. And as the plane is manufactured in the US, an American investigator from the National Transportation Safety Board joins the team.
What'd you find?
The debris trail runs nearly 2 kilometers. Fan pattern.
Typically on impact, as the airplane hits the ground, all of a sudden pieces will start coming apart. The bigger pieces will keep going straight. The other pieces will start fanning out. they'll spread.
They had to impact at a relatively shallow angle to make that pattern.
But as investigators continue to analyze the crash site, they learn that critical evidence has been destroyed.
Not much left of the flight data recorder.
One of the major tools in a modern aircraft accident investigation is the flight data recorder. More modern ones can record thousands of parameters. Angle of attack, airspeed, engine parameters. The lack of a flight data recorder during an investigation is a major blow.
谢谢你的公心，请随时通知我。Police say some of the cargo has been stolen from the crash site.
In the chaos, some of the local residents decided to help themselves to some of the cargo. This creates a situation where investigators might not find critical parts that they need to solve the accident.
Has anyone found the cockpit voice recorder?
Hopefully that wasn't stolen too.
If you don't have a flight data recorder and you don't have a cockpit voice recorder, you really have to go back to the basics to try to figure out what happened.
Investigators start by examining impact scars left by the engines to determine at what altitude the plane struck the ground.
The ground slope's 30 degrees down from the horizontal.
Slope is the same for the other ground scar, and wings were level.
The aircraft engines are very heavy. They'll make their own craters. So you look at the angle the engines are in, that gives you a very good idea of the pitch angle at impact, because those parts are basically going to try to just bore a hole into the dirt.
So, aircraft takes off. Roughly 3 minutes later, it crashes in a dive, 30 degrees nose down, with wings level.
So what caused the dive?
The ground information tells you how the airplane went down. We don't know why it went down, and that takes a lot more effort.
We need to test for explosives, get at least a dozen specimens from the wreckage, and send those samples to the lab for testing.
Chinese authorities wonder if an act of terrorism could have caused the accident.
In any investigation, anything could have happened, and one of those events could have been sabotage or a bomb. So it's important in investigations to rule out something like that as soon as possible.
As police look for evidence of explosives, investigators interview the air traffic controller.
Anyone who talked to the crew is a witness to the investigation, and the controller is the last person to talk to the crew. So it was very important to get his impressions, what he did, what he's hearing back from the pilots, and understand what was happening that night.
To start, what stood out to you about the flight?
Takeoff seemed normal, but afterwards the pilots struggled to maintain the flight plan.
Turn left, direct to November, Hotel Whiskey.
Then climb and maintain 1,500 meters. They eventually made their turn, but I had to remind them.
After that?
As they corrected their turn, I noticed they were still too low, so I told them to climb. Korean Air 6316, climb and maintain 1,500 meters. I had to remind them a second time before they started to climb. I thought they were off safely. The next thing I knew, the plane disappeared from radar.
The air traffic controller sees the aircraft climbing, everything looks normal and fine, and then all of a sudden, things go very wrong.
Korean Air 6316, do you read?
Our data provide any clues.
The plane climbs to 1,371 meters, or 4,500 feet. Roughly 16 seconds later, it impacts the ground.
That's a descent rate of roughly 17,000 feet per minute.
We have a saying in aviation called a minute to die rule, which means that if your rate of descent in feet per minute is greater than your altitude, that's a dangerous situation.
Flight 6316's rate of descent was more than 3 times greater than their altitude.